So I've got a bit of free time today. I'm meant to be out training some walking groups, but my leg's still not quite up to it. So I thought I'd play with one of my toys, and here it is. Willys Jeep, only we're not going to play with this one, we're going to play with the real thing, which is sitting in my garage out there. Whether there's any chance of getting it started today, I don't know, but let's go through the process, see if we can get it going. It's a bit showery today, but there's a bit of a break in the weather, so we'll see what we can do. First thing I've got to do though is move the Land Rover so I can get at the Jeep in the garage. So that's the Land Rover out of the way. Let's see if we can get in the garage and have a look at the Jeep. Not been in here for a while, but there she is. A bit dark in here, but you can sort of see what's going on. And we've got a little bit of work to do before we actually get her started. Battery connected up, maybe charged a little bit. So typically, just as I come outside, it started to rain, but we're indoors at the moment, so let's have a look under the bonnet. And I'm just going to spend a few minutes wiring up the battery, and maybe I'm going to put the battery on charge for a little while, which might help. And because it turns over really slowly, but I think we stand some chance of getting us started today, and by the time we do, the weather will probably have improved. So no power in my garage, so I've had to run a bit of a long extension lead back to the flat, but we've got her charging now, and the charge is on the battery. The thing you have to remember, of course, is that it's 6 volts, so I've switched the charger over to 6 volts, and on fast charge there's quite some current going in at the moment, so we'll come back in 2 or 3 hours and see if the battery's got enough charge to turn it over. So back out into the cold again. We've had 2 hours and I think the battery's nicely charged. I'm just going to clean the terminals up a little bit. I use these rather clever little things with a sharp edge on them that scrape away at the terminals. Makes a huge difference on a 6-volt vehicle, because if they're not clean and there's muck on them, you won't stand a chance in getting it started. So battery terminals on. I just need to use the fuel lifter, see if I can get some fuel up. Mechanical pump used to flatten the battery, getting fuel just up into the fuel lines. So let's give that a bit of a pump. Let's see what happens. miracles do happen. It's beginning to get dark and I was giving up hope, but she finally fired with a little bit of easy start and up and running. Once it's run for a while and warmed up, it's really easy because it doesn't need quite so much throttle and it just ticks away sweetly. So let's take her for a run. So after rather a lot of hassle and 2 attempts, I managed to get it started, and we've driven it around a little bit, Steph and I. I have to rev it rather a lot to keep it running, because if I stall it, I think the chance of starting it again is quite minimal. But it runs pretty roughly when it's cold, but when it's warm it runs really rather sweetly. We run out of daylight, that's the problem, so we've put it back in the garage just as it was getting pitch dark, and maybe we'll look forward to getting it out again in a few weeks' time, perhaps try and get it out in the daylight. But until then, here's a few photographs of what it looks like